I've known Greg Pandura for about 12 years, and I can say this guy's got a lot of history. And what it comes down to, he has a history of people asking him to step into earlier stage or emerging or even sometimes distressed companies to clean them up, raise capital, build the human talent, and in the case of Solid Resources, which is a junior resource company, add a lot of bench strength to the technical team. And that is exactly what happened in the case of Solid Resources, where he assumed the president and CEO role about a year ago. In that short period of time, he stabilized the ship with new capital, expanded the technical team, and focused the group on what has turned out to be a very successful 2011 drill program. He's now working to expand the project portfolio, but the main goal is to develop Europe's first producing tantalum mine at Solid's main property in Spain. And it always makes the business trip more pleasant when you have to go to Spain. And with that, and by the way, just today, the company issued a news release with 43101 numbers, and that is the early resource estimates on what sort of reserves Solid is looking at, solely on the northern part of the property that was involved in the 2011 drill program. The numbers on the southern portion will be coming out very shortly, but they're all good. With that, Greg Pandura.
Hi, good afternoon. Solid Resources. Solid Resources is a rare metal property. The flagship property is in Spain, northwestern Spain. The purpose of the 2011 program was simply to either prove or disprove that particular property in Spain, and the drill program was exceedingly successful. Assay results came back better than expectations. Reserve reports coming out are very, very good. And we're just waiting for the last piece of the puzzle, which is the metallurgy report, which will be coming out in November of this year. Just a quick disclaimer here. I'll be making a few forward statements because of the reserve estimate. So the highlights of the company, Grant alluded to it. We want to become the first producing tantalum mine in Europe. I'll talk about tantalum in a second just to give you an idea of what it is, but it's a hot metal right now. Anything to do basically with electronics, computers, you need tantalum, and you can't replace it. So with that, there's a real urgency by the end users on ensuring their supply. The end users for tantalum are your companies like Apple Computers, IBM, Sony. Those are your end users. And because of the hoarding concept going on in the world today, I'm sure you've heard of some of the strategies by China, and by the way, they're very, very successful. It's creating real issues for companies' long-term strategy for future supply. Short-term to hard numbers. This is a story that's not going to take 5 years to unfold. The drill program, this is our third drill program. As I said, very, very successful. Q4, we're going to get 2 reserve estimate reports. Actually, one came out today, as Grant alluded to. You can expect the second one tomorrow, both on the north and south section of the property, which I'll talk about in a little more detail later. And again, the metallurgy report, which has been done by SGS Labs in the UK, will be coming out in November. Assays speak volumes. Our assay of 2011 far exceeded what we anticipated, what we're going to find. We knew we had we felt very strongly we had a commercially viable mine. We didn't know how large that would be. Now we're very confident that the future is going to show a really decent sized commercially viable mining operation. In value, trading price versus fact and potential. We're a market cap now of less than $10 million, 9.5 cent share price. I personally believe that what we have now with a company with our market cap is extraordinary, and I believe you'll see the merit to that before we're finished the presentation. The property is located in the northwest Spain. The area is called Galicia. We're within a couple of miles of 2 deep-sea ports, Pontevedra being one and Vigo being the other one. Tantalum is one of the metals which we'll be producing. Right now it's about $250 a pound at the oxide level, $150 a pound for concentrate. It's appreciated about 150% this year alone, and the price isn't going down. It's going up. A large chunk of it is used for electronics, so anything to do with capacitors. Heat, if you need something to go faster, it generates heat. Tantalum is a product which cools the whole system down. You simply have to have it in order to have our fast electronics, which we have today. There's a real short supply in tantalum, about 21% right now. You may have heard about tantalum in the news now as a conflict metal, like your blood diamonds in Africa. Well, it comes from the same area, or one of the areas. About a third of the tantalum in the world today comes from Africa, a large chunk from the Congo. And there's a lot of legislation going on worldwide today to put a real curtail the tantalum coming from these areas. Companies, end users, your IBMs of the world, they have to have an audited paper trail on where the tantalum comes from. And as I said, it's becoming a real issue. Companies like Apple, Sony can't afford, because of the internet these days, to be associated with using a material which is a blood tantalum. The Dodd-Frank wall is just the legislation which I was referring to, which is putting a pin on the tantalum. H.C. Stark is one of the large tantalum distributors, if you like, in the world today. It's a larger German conglomerate. There's actually 3 companies in the world today which control tantalum: H.C. Stark, Cabot in the U.S., which has just been bought by GAM, an Australian company, and a large Chinese company. Stark simply said they don't care what the paper trail says, where the tantalum comes from in Africa. They're simply not going to buy it. So if others, companies follow suit with that, we're going to have approximately a 50% shortfall in tantalum right now. Tin is the other metal that we have in the property. It's about $12 a pound, about $11 a pound right now. About half of tin today is used in solder. When they banned lead, that was replaced with tin. And the other large portion of your tin is used in various things as an alloy material. Tin is a commodity which is obviously not going away. It's a very stable metal, such as your iron ore. It's also a conflict material too. A large portion of tin does come from Africa. We have a lot of lithium on the property. It's about $2.5 a pound right now. Most of you know of that material for your hybrid electrical batteries for cars. A large portion of lithium is also used in the glass and ceramics industry. The other metals on the property: niobium, $28 a pound. Typically, that's a strengthener for steel. It makes steel lighter and stronger. Rubidium and cesium, we have a lot of that on the property also. I won't go into that. Our metallurgy report will determine the economic viability of those two metals. Those are a little more complicated, whereas the other ones, which I've alluded to, are very simple processing. It's basically making big rocks smaller, and then it's a gravity separation. So our goal this year, as I mentioned on the 2011 drill program, was to prove the continuity of our dikes. The property is large. It's approximately 14 kilometers long. And we knew from prior drill programs more or less where it was north-south and a bit of the central. But we wanted to determine, can we show there is a continuous flow on the strike zone from north to south. And I'm confidently saying that we have done that this year. So the company overview, I touched this already. Primarily, it's a former tin mine on this property. There was a lot of mom-and-pop tin mines there in the 1950s. The assay results, as I said, the dikes are 50% to 100% bigger this year than in prior years. We found a 94-meter extension, which really surprised us, which really opened up the idea that obviously the property does extend all the way for the whole 14 kilometers stretch. And if that is the case, which we'll determine in the 2012 drill program, then it's not just a mid-sized property, it's an enormous mineral deposit. So the objective this year, which one of the ones which we have accomplished, is proving we'll call it the potential reserves on the property, and also we wanted to prove up the economic viability of an open pit mining scenario. The mining authority in Spain has given us the go-ahead verbally to proceed with that. They're pushing us. Spain's a great country to do business right now. It's on its knees economically. The Spanish government wants employment happening. They are pushing us. They are going to, I think, really help us save a lot of time on the permitting process as we take this thing to the finish line. The property has all the infrastructure in place right now. It's right beside a highway. The water is there, electricity is there. It's a mining culture in place there. It has been for generations. The people want to go back to work. There won't be any issue making this project go forward. The Spanish ministry, we have a very good relationship with them. Our people in Spain have got us a 20% subsidy on everything which we spend in Spain, whether it be exploration costs or capital costs. That's kind of unheard of in the mining business. And we've just in the throes of signing the contract for the 2012 program to save the same 20% subsidy. So this is the idea of the property. I don't think you can see the flow, but from here to there is 14 kilometers. You can see some little red stripes going through the yellow. Those are the pegmatite dikes. That strike zone is approximately 250 to 300 meters wide, and it runs for, we know, 11 of the 14 kilometers right now. The pegmatite dikes have thicknesses up to 26 meters in height or width. These are mammoth things. It's not like drilling for gold or silver where you're trying to find little veins. These things are enormous, and they're mineralized right through. These numbers in the bottom just give you an idea on what to expect on a per ton. These are highlights. These aren't averages, unfortunately. But 400 ppm of tantalum is approximately 1 pound of tantalum per ton. 2,300 ppm of tin is about 5.5 pounds per ton. And 2% lithium equates to approximately 44 pounds of lithium per ton. These numbers here are the drill holes of the 2011 drill program, drill holes 1 to 31. Actually, there was only supposed to have been 29 drill holes this year, but when the assays came back on the very southern tip of the most northern zone, we hit it in a new area, and lo and behold, we hit what we thought the mother lode, and we punched in 2 more holes. The drill equipment was there. Assays came back. It confirmed what we thought. In all likelihood, it will have a continuous flow from the north right through the south. These other drill holes here, there's a lot of scout drilling done there in the last 3 drill programs, but not enough to do a reserve estimate. So the reserve estimate, which we were talking about, which is the one that came through today, is just on the small little tip of the northern zone up here. And the one you'll hear tomorrow, news released, is on the southernmost little tip right there. The rest of the area, approximately 90% of the property, has yet to be an estimate done on it. Obviously, that will be started next year. This just gives you an idea on how the dikes move. These lines are at 150-meter intervals, and it runs the whole length of the 11 kilometers. And as I said, these things are anywhere from 15 feet to 80 feet in width or height. Just to give you an idea of this is on the northern section of the property, the one where the reserve estimate came out today. And these are typically to signify the drill holes that was done in 2011. And these drills are anywhere from about 250 to 900 feet in length, or depth. A few on the northern zone. These are just the highlights of the different four metals which assays came back on. The length of the dikes anywhere from 12 meters all the way to 26 meters in length. The south, and this is the one which you'll hear tomorrow in the news release. And again, this is just on the very, very southern tip of the property. That's it. And these assay results here on this chart here come from some of the scout drilling program going right through. But the reserve estimate coming out tomorrow is just on the very tip of the southern portion of the property. Here's an idea of what the dike looks like. We're right by a highway. That's a beautiful thing for a miner. This dike's approximately 20 feet in height, and you can see the mineralization going right through it. So these are the things which run for 1 to 2 kilometers per stretch. So as I said, the lengths of the dikes were much higher in 2011, and it showed up in a comparative aspect to the prior years. I won't go into these holes 30 and 31, but just to say that they were significant. 12 meter, that was the size of that particular dike, and this is the breakup of each meter is the assay for that particular dike. Extraordinary. This is the reserve which came out today, which if you saw that particular press release, again, just on the small northern section. This is the one which will come out first thing tomorrow morning, again, just on this very tip of the southern area. Just a rehash of what I've said already. We've done a lot of scout drilling north to south, and we know the grades already from the assay results we've had are pretty continuous. So as we do our drill program next year, which is going to be 6,000 meters, which is pretty extensive, that is going to give us a real handle on the type of reserves which we have there. These are just numbers to give you an idea, and again, this is not fair to put that there, but you'll have to realize that you have to get your metallurgy back, which will give you a cutoff grade, and it will also show you what the percent recoverability from the metal from the ore is. But this is just an idea on the potential numbers which we'll find. That's just on these two small portions of the property. Here's our mining costs, hard costs for both underground and above ground. We're getting a lot of press in Spain. Spain wants this thing going through. A tantalum mine in the EU is enormous. Our objectives to move forward basically is going to be either 2 or 3. We're going to be finding a JV for a financial partner as we move forward. We have an enormous need for cash as we're proving up what we're doing. That is one of our options. Option number 3 is to find a mining company who to go in there, supply the cash. We'll become a partner with them and share in the profits. Just an idea on our needs for next year on the 6,000 meter program. And I'm trying to talk so fast to finish up here. I'm anyway, Peru, I won't go in there. It's just a small property which we're just starting on right now. Some ideas on the company. Management, geology team, very strong geology team both in Canada and in Spain. We've just brought David Henstridge on board, an Australian chap, well known in the mining business. He's brought 3 mines from production from exploration into production. So we have a strong think tank on that particular side to move forward. So without going any further, follow us, put us on your radar screen, because I think you're going to hear something very, very significant as we move forward. Thank you.